Hey guys, another daily vlog here from Dooma. So I'm kind of learning not to use my real name. Don't want to get doxxed, as often happens when you have a controversial uh, video series. Where I've got some maybe hard edged opinions. People don't like that all the time. Um, Gonna share some more of those with you today. Actually, I had a dream last night. Um, First, it was about it's like Encino Man, the movie Encino Man, but instead of a caveman, they unfroze a barbarian, like Conan kind of, and they had to. These people in the dream, maybe one of them was me, but I can't really. Dreams are kind of weird that way. It's almost like watching a movie. You're kind of there and you're kind of not. Um, and they had to hide in a semi truck in this frozen landscape, kind of like a Russian base or something. It's where they thawed the body, and this barbarian was protecting them from all these kind of Russian soldiers. They looked like the guys off Metal Gear Solid, the first one, in the white snowsuits or whatever. Um, but that was just the first part of the dream. That doesn't actually have anything to do with the second part, right? Because I woke up, the YouTube was playing on the TV, a bit disoriented and thought, okay, I'm just gonna go back to sleep. Sorry, acid indigestion here, as usual. But the second part was I had opened my own shop, my own restaurant. And sometimes you have these ideas that hit you subconsciously, and they just kind of work. They just make sense. And this is like an entrepreneurial endeavor. I've always been more of an artist, musician, kind of entertainer, writer. That's sort of been my thing. I just work a day job, but I've got all these other projects that kind of take the precedence in my life. Along with my other hobbies and a lot and the things that I do. So I've never really thought in an entrepreneurial way, but now with COVID ending and all these businesses that are failed businesses, and frankly, a lot of people defend the small business, and we ought to protect small business. If they were so good, why didn't they make it? It's just because Walmart's better. I can go get um, ice cream and jeans at the same time at a Walmart. I can't do that at a mom and pop grocery place. So, I don't really have a lot of sympathy. And as far as I'm concerned, those places deserve to shut down. I don't like to say that, and maybe that's a little bit all the communism and socialism ever is so popular. It's an unpopular opinion to say that, you know, basically fuck small businesses. I mean, that sounds really bad, I know, but we got to think realistically here, guys. And the big places like the Walmart and the Targets of the world, they're there for a reason. They're successful for a reason. It's because they just are bigger. They have more stuff, you know. And DVDs, you can get DVDs for like $5. So of course I'm going to support the big businesses. If I can get a DVD for $5, you know. What was the other one I got the other day? Tombstone on DVD. It was like a 2-pack. There's 2 movies in there for $5 on DVD. So the little guy. Oh, Cry Me a River. The little guy. They can't compete with that. Is what I'm saying. But I think if a business is good enough and they deserve it, then they're gonna last. And that's what my business I think is gonna be like. I'm actually thinking of becoming a bit of a restaurateur. Okay, but things are kind of hard right now. This is like a second depression we're going through. Second Great Depression. Uh, Everybody's eating 7-Eleven and macaroni and all this. And I think, well, why not? Because groceries are more expensive than ever. I went to buy chicken the other day, and I decided, that was an extra $5-10 on top of what chicken would normally cost. That's 4 movies because the 2 packs they have, or even 4 packs sometimes, that I could buy instead of chicken. And so we had beans for dinner, and then and then the dream came, and boom, I had a spark go off in my brain, and I'm going to share a little bit with you here. I've already kind of like applied for patent and all that, so if you're going to try and steal my idea, you're going to regret it, and I'll know who did it if you because I can track your IP address if you've watched YouTube. I mean, I'm in IT, so if you watch my channel, I know where you live and your address and your phone, and I'll dox you. Okay, so don't even think about trying to dox me or steal my ideas, because it takes some Gaviscon or something. It didn't taste right. I'm gonna dox you. Anyway, so the restaurant idea, I call it comfort food. That's the name of the restaurant, and that's all that we're gonna have. All the comfort foods there, like cans of baked beans and Franks. I call them hot dogs here in Canada. They're called Franks and beans. Maybe in the UK or whatever, wherever weird country doesn't call them hot dogs. It's obviously they're hot dogs. Franks and beans, sloppy joes. What other nachos? Real easy food, homemade comfort food. The kind of home food you go home to, and you've had a bad day, and you want to feel maybe a little bit less depressed. Maybe you don't like your marriage, and your kids driving you nuts. And so I like to just go and sit and have a can of beans sometimes. That's a comfort food for me. It's something I grew up with, beans. And I like to have a good bean. So that's what I'm hoping to bring to people. And it'd be cheap to run. This restaurant would almost cost nothing to run. You could do it on a truck or the back of a trailer, back of a pickup truck, whatever. And everything would be cheap. And you could sell it cheap back to the people. But they don't have to prepare it. Beans come in tin cans. A lot of people don't have can openers or a way to get the food out. And so instead, they'd come to you to come to the truck. You'd get them their baked beans. Maybe baked beans cost $2 for a can, or $3 at the most. And then you just charge $1 on top of that. You're doing something for the public, giving them nice food you like. I saw a video of a guy in Brooklyn. He made hamburgers for people. He spent his whole life in this food truck making hamburgers, cheap hamburgers. People love this. People love him. I fell in love a little bit while watching that video, not in a romantic sense, platonically, but more envious that he had that kind of life. He had that freedom to just and be part of a community. I think that's what it's about, is community. And so I would like to bring people together with cheap comfort foods. Cheap doesn't mean bad, guys. I don't know if you've had a can of beans. There's nothing like a can of beans. Nothing else out there replaces it. Beans aren't a meat, but they're kind of like a meat, and so it's like a can of meat that you're eating almost, but in a sauce, and it's really good. And I recommend. I like the Heinz, the English style beans. There's the honey or brown sugar, all these other ones too. It's kind of fancy pants stuff, but you could do that. In fact, I just thought of it. This is evolving as I'm kind of speaking now. This idea: why don't we just do beans, right? We don't have to comfort food. That's probably used by somebody else. That name. We don't have to call it comfort food. What do we call it? The big bean, or beaners. And then you just come and there's like all different kinds of beans. Those brown sugar ones, or the ones with the bacon in them. Maybe you have a special bean special where you could cut up some hot dogs even and boil that with the beans, and then that's like $1 extra, but it's like a premium, beanium. Something like that. I don't know. We gotta play with the name. Hey, it's Beanium Beans. We got your premium beans here with hot dogs, and they're ready to go, ready to eat. Come on down, get some baked beans. Come to the baked beaner truck, and bring your wallet, but not too much money, because we're economical here And, and then you park the truck outside of church or whatever. Everybody comes out of church. They get their that time they talk and have the coffee and all that, communion or whatever that's called. But then they have their beans right outside for lunch, right? I think it's a brilliant idea. I think it'll probably work, bring lots of people together. So I want you guys to think about that and look forward to that, because that's I think the next chapter in my life. When I have a dream, I consider it kind of like a message from God, in a sense. God's telling you something you have to do. And for me, I think this is kind of my destiny, is to make bean for people. And have them everybody reintroduce beans to the public, because they've kind of got slagged over the years. They're really popular after World War I or II or Vietnam or whatever. Then canned foods were popular because of the war, and then beans got really popular. There was they called it the bean-sation. It's like sensation, but bean-sation. Actually the restaurant could be called that. And everybody was like cuckoo for beans, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, but for beans. But it hasn't been that way. The beans have fallen out of the limelight, and we've got all this other kale, Swiss, like what? I've never heard of any of these things before. It's all just lettuce. You might as well just put lettuce. It's lettuce, but you have to cook it because it sucks. And there's all these lettuces all over. There's like a whole shelf in the grocery store of lettuces, and all the people picking it are pooping on their fingers, and they touch the lettuce with their poop fingers, and then everybody gets sick over here. It's like a sabotage. I actually consider it almost like a terrorist act of terrorism in a way, that this keeps happening to us. We keep getting E. coli from lettuce, and now nobody wants to eat lettuce because it sucks and it's garbage and it's disgusting and nobody wants to eat it. But everybody likes beans, and it's just they've forgotten, so it's kind of we haven't adjusted our palates back to the enjoyment of beans and the health benefits they provide. I had some beans this morning, and that's why I'm kind of going through what I'm going through now. And I actually have a little diarrhea too, but that's more my GI tract. That's not the beans' fault. I'm not going to blame the beans for that. I still find them a nutritious, healthful. It's kind of like a form of self-care and comfort. And so I want you to join me on my bean journey. When I start my bean company, Beaners, and put some suggestions in the comments for beans you'd like to see. What kind of beans would you like, and maybe even names for the company. If there's any good lawyers out there who can maybe help this, and if there's any bank managers or comptrollers, whatever they're called, that want to maybe like think about giving me a business loan, now's your time to reach out, because I'm willing to take that advice. And also, I've been seeing all these videos I've been watching have all these ads on them, and I guess people make money from that. I wasn't actually aware. I just thought they liked the products. So I want to talk about Raid Shadow Legends for a minute. It's an excellent mobile game. It's got over... Hold on, Raid Shadow Legends. How many heroes does it have? Heroes, amount of heroes. Because these games are all the same, but you get these characters. 300 champions. Raid Shadow Legends wouldn't be a proper collectible squad-based battle MMORPG without something to collect, right? I'm just kind of reading verbatim from the website here. That's where it's more than 300 champions come into play. That's a lot of champions for you to collect and play on your phone. And so it sounds like Raid Legends is a really good game. Raid Shadow Legends, if you were watching this right now, I'd love to sponsor you on my channel, and I appreciate any kickbacks you'd be willing to provide for that, and we can work something out. I'll talk about your game and well, pretty much as much as you'd like, in between my own videos, because I still have to have my own content as well. And once I get the bean thing going, I don't think I'm going to need any of that support, because I think it's going to be really successful and make a lot of money doing that for my family. But for now, I do need the help. So if you could just give me a message, give me a ring, whatever it is that you got, however you get in contact with people, I'd really appreciate that. So look out for the Bean Scape, Bean Village. I'm still kind of throwing names out there, just tossing things to the wind. But it's going to come soon. And I think you guys are all going to really enjoy it. So come down, enjoy some beans, and send me your flavors below, what kind of bean flavors you think there should be. And play Raid Shadow Legends on your cell phone. It's Android and the other one, the Steve Jobs one as well. And get that. Enjoy it.